A few years after the creation of the atomic bomb, Oppenheimer, Cillian Murphy, is under heavy fire. An extensive conclusion turned into an indictment written by William L. Borden, David Dasmalchian, and the need for a Q clearance renewal puts Oppenheimer in a very problematic situation. In this closed hearing and bureaucratic procedure, Oppenheimer recollects his story from his time in grad school leading up to him being put in charge of the Manhattan Project by General Leslie R. Groves, Matt Damon, Los Alamos, and his standpoint, viewpoint, and moral qualms before and after these events. I said it before and I'll say it again. This movie isn't for everyone. Apart from its lengthy runtime, it is heavily character driven. So much does happen visually, however, the movie is more dialogue and character focused. This movie goes past action and gives us a very rich and focused story that was really enjoyable on all fronts. Nolan's form of storytelling is always intriguing, and with Oppenheimer, it was truly beautiful to see. Our first act is given to us rather quickly, but gives us everything we need to know of our character and part of his backstory before our catalyst, with enough context for us to understand our character, care for our character, and be within this world and not be confused by it. With our past and present woven together, we are given more context, while not giving us everything. Yet. To make things more interesting, similarly to Asteroid City, we cut from color to black and white. However, in this particular instance, color signifies first person, while black and white indicates third person, or other people's feelings and interpretations/perspectives towards Dr. Oppenheimer, which I found intriguing and fascinating. I did get confused on my first watch, but that was mainly due to the timeline and not this particular element. I really enjoyed this movie, watching it unfold, with great anticipation waiting to see the explosion of the atomic bomb that, as Nolan mentioned, has no CGI. Although many people were left unsatisfied due to the silence and how underwhelming it all was, I was satisfied. I enjoyed it greatly. After the bomb explodes, I heard that the movie's momentum slows down, but I disagree. The story is not only about the creation of the atomic bomb, but of its consequences. As stated within the Prometheus quote in the opening, we too see Prometheus chained and tortured by crows, only in this case, Oppenheimer's consequences and actions means that the world has the opportunity to destroy itself with his creation, and that of the situation he ends up being in due to Admiral Lewis Strauss, Robert Downey Jr.'s, manipulating tactics against Oppenheimer. It is also when both our chapters of fission and fusion come back into play. As we complete the scenes we've partly seen since the beginning, we begin to piece together more of the timeline and more of the story as a whole, seeing how the world seemed to turn against Oppenheimer even after his accomplishments over security precautions. We then finally see the scene of Einstein and Tom Conti by the pond. We not only finally hear what Oppenheimer and Einstein talked about, we also have our final image of the world up in flames by bombings, causing the same rippling effect as our water droplets or rain from the opening scene, paralleling it with a beautiful soundtrack. Overall, Oppenheimer is more than just the creation of the atomic bomb. It is a very heavily condensed story of the consequences of having such weapons of mass destruction at our disposal. Due to Oppenheimer's achievements, the equation that troubled the physicists inevitably came true, which was the ultimate consequence of this story, a somewhat retelling of Prometheus giving fire to the world and thus being tortured for eternity. In this phenomenal cinematic film, Nolan truly made everything come together to give us an amazing film that puts story and storytelling first, rather than action.